The story starts with a moment that changed everything. An American CEO stood inside a busy factory and laughed quietly at a group of Filipino workers. He believed they were slow, uneducated, and only good for simple tasks. He thought hiring them was a cheap decision, not a smart one. What he did not know was that these same workers would soon save his company, transform his business, and turn his failing operation into one of the most profitable decisions of his entire career. The CEO had built his reputation in the United States. He believed strict rules, pressure, and control were the keys to success. When he expanded his company overseas, he came with strong confidence and little patience. To him, workers were just labor, not thinkers. He believed real ideas only came from executives and foreign experts, never from people working on the factory floor every day. When operations started in the Philippines, the CEO immediately noticed differences. The workers were polite, quiet, and respectful. Instead of seeing discipline and professionalism, he saw weakness. He mistook humility for lack of intelligence. He joked with his managers that Filipino workers needed to be watched closely because they could not be trusted to make important decisions on their own. The Filipino workers heard the jokes and felt the disrespect. Still, they stayed professional. Many of them had families to support. Some had years of experience in factories, construction sites, and overseas jobs. They understood machines, systems, and teamwork. Even though their ideas were ignored, they continued working hard, hoping one day their efforts would be noticed. As months passed, the company began facing serious problems. Machines broke down often, production slowed, orders were delayed. Customers complained. Costs kept rising. Instead of looking at leadership problems, the CEO blamed the workers. He pushed them harder, added more rules, and shortened deadlines, believing pressure would fix everything. Inside the factory, the workers already knew the real issues. They saw inefficient workflows. They noticed machines wasting materials. They knew which steps could be improved, but every time someone tried to speak, managers shut them down. The workers learned to stay silent and simply follow orders, even when they knew better solutions existed. One day, disaster struck. A major machine failed during peak production season. This machine handled a large portion of the company's output. Without it, the company would lose contracts and money every single day. The CEO panicked and immediately ordered foreign engineers to be flown in at a very high cost. While waiting for the engineers, a small group of Filipino workers asked for permission to examine the machine. They had worked with similar systems before. The CEO laughed again and told his managers they would only waste time. But with nothing left to lose, he allowed them to try while waiting for help to arrive. The workers studied the machine carefully. They discussed the problem calmly and worked as a team. Within a few hours, they fixed the issue. Even more surprising, they adjusted the machine to run faster and waste less material. Production restarted the same day. When the CEO saw the results, he was stunned. The foreign engineers arrived later and confirmed the fix was correct. They admitted the solution was smart and efficient. The CEO felt confused. The people he mocked had solved a problem his expensive experts had not even seen yet. This moment planted doubt in his mind, even though he tried not to show it. Over the next few weeks, similar events happened again. Filipino workers solved small issues quietly. They improved processes without being asked. Errors reduced, waste dropped, output increased. The CEO noticed something strange in the reports. Numbers were improving, even though he had not changed his management style. For the first time, the CEO started paying attention to the workers themselves. He watched how they worked together. He noticed their discipline, creativity, and teamwork. Slowly, he began asking questions instead of giving orders. The answers surprised him. The workers understood the operation better than anyone else in the company. The CEO decided to try something new. He asked workers to share ideas openly. At first, no one spoke. They were used to being ignored. After some encouragement, ideas started flowing. Suggestions came about saving time, reducing costs, and improving quality. These ideas were simple, practical, and effective. Management approved several worker-led changes. The results were immediate. Production speed increased. Defects dropped. Delivery times improved. Clients noticed the difference and increased their orders. For the first time since opening overseas, The company was not just surviving, it was growing fast. At the end of the year, profits shocked everyone. Revenue jumped far beyond expectations. Costs dropped sharply. Investors were impressed. Business magazines praised the CEO's vision, but inside, he knew the truth. The success did not come from his pressure or control. It came from the workers he once mocked. The CEO began changing his leadership style. He promoted skilled Filipino workers into supervisor roles. He invested in training programs. He encouraged open communication. Slowly, fear disappeared from the factory floor and was replaced by pride and confidence. As trust grew, innovation increased. Workers suggested new product ideas. Processes became smoother. Teams worked faster without stress. The factory became a model operation within the company's global network. International clients visited the site and were amazed. They praised the quality, efficiency, and teamwork. Word spread. More contracts followed. Expansion plans were approved. Profits continued rising year after year. During a company meeting, the CEO stood before the workers and admitted his mistake. He said he underestimated them and was wrong. He thanked them for saving the company. The room was silent, then filled with applause. For the workers, the apology mattered. But respect mattered more. They did not seek revenge or praise. They only wanted to be valued for their skills and hard work. Other executives began studying this success story. They wanted to know why the Philippines produced such strong results. The answer was simple. Talent exists everywhere when people are trusted. The CEO later said this experience changed his life. He learned that leadership is not about control, but listening. Not about ego, but humility. What started with mockery turned into partnership. What began with doubt became loyalty and growth. The company's profits exploded, not because of machines or money, but because people were finally respected. This is the story of how Filipino workers turned disrespect into success, and how one CEO learned that the greatest strength of any company is the people who keep it running every day.